I want to begin by explaining why I'm talking about John Greene of Quidnessett and why his story matters to the work I do today. My name is Garland H. Greene Jr., and John Greene of Quidnessett is my seventh great-grandfather. But this is not simply a genealogical exercise or a family curiosity. John Greene represents the beginning of a continuous American line, one that starts in the founding years of New England and runs without interruption into military service during the Civil War. John Greene arrived in New England in 1635 and settled in the Quidnessett area of what would become Rhode Island. He lived and worked near Richard Smith's trading post along Narragansett Bay, acquired land, became a freeman, and helped establish a family whose roots would remain firmly planted in New England for generations. This was not a transient line. These were people who stayed, built, served, and endured. John Greene married later in life, which was unusual for his time, and raised a large family, more sons than daughters, many of whom became freemen themselves. His children and grandchildren spread through Rhode Island and Connecticut, carrying forward both land holdings and civic responsibility. Over time, this family produced captains, lieutenants, farmers, tradesmen, and public servants. That continuity matters because when the country faced its greatest internal test 2 centuries later, members of this same family answered the call again. Levi Davis Greene and Marvin Wheeler Greene, both descendants of John Greene of Quidnessett, served in the First New York Dragoons during the American Civil War. Their service is not an isolated chapter. It is part of a longer story that begins with settlement, land, allegiance, and community in the 17th century and carries forward into national service in the 19th. My work on the First New York Dragoons and on figures like General Alfred Gibbs grows directly out of that understanding. I am not approaching this history as an outsider. I am tracing a line, one that begins with John Greene helping to establish a foothold in a new country and continues through men who fought to preserve it. So when I talk about John Greene of Quidnessett, I am talking about origins, about how a family takes root, about how service, responsibility, and endurance repeat themselves across generations. This is not just where my family begins, it is where my work begins, and welcome you to join me in that effort.